Book 10, Part 2 of Ovid's Metamorphoses. This is a LibriVox recording. All LibriVox recordings are in the public domain. For more information or to volunteer, please visit LibriVox.org. Recording by Shalifa Malham. Metamorphoses by Publius Ovidius Nassau. Translated by Brooks Moore. Book 10, Part 2. Pygmalion saw these women wasted their lives in wretched shame, and critical of faults which nature had so deeply planted through their female hearts, he lived in preference for many years unmarried. But while he was single, with consummate skill, he carved a statue out of snow-white ivory, and gave to it exquisite beauty which no woman of the world has ever equalled. She was so beautiful he fell in love with his creation. It appeared in truth a perfect virgin with the grace of life, but in the expression of such modesty all motion was restrained, and so his art concealed his art. Pygmalion gazed, inflamed with love and admiration for the form and semblance of a woman he had carved. He lifts up both his hands to feel of the work, and wonders if it can be ivory, because it seems to him more truly flesh. His mind refusing to conceive of it as ivory, he kisses it, and feels his kisses are returned, and speaking love, caresses it with loving hands that seem to make an impress on the parts of they touch, so real that he fears he then may bruise her by his eager pressing. Softest tones are used each time he speaks to her. He brings to her such presents as are surely prized by sweet girls, such as smooth round pebbles, shells and birds, and fragrant flowers of thousand tints, lilies and painted balls, and amber tears of Heliads, which he distilled from far-off trees. He drapes her in rich clothing and in gems, rings on her fingers, a rich necklace round her neck, pearl pendants on her graceful ears, and golden ornaments adorn her breast. All these are beautiful, and she appears most lovable if carefully attired. All perfect is a statue, unadorned. He lays her on a bed luxurious, spread with coverlets of Tyrian purple dye, and naming her the consort of his couch, lays her reclining head on the most soft and downy pillows, trusting she could feel. The festal day of Venus, known throughout all Cyprus, now had come, and throngs were there to celebrate. Heifers with spreading horns, all gold-tipped, fell when given the stroke of death upon their snow-white necks, and frankincense was smoking on the altars. There, intent, Pygmalion stood before an altar, when his offering had been made, and although he feared the result, he prayed, "If it is true, O gods, that you can give all things, I pray to have as my wife." But he did not dare to add "my ivory statue made," and said, "one like my ivory." Golden Venus heard, for she was present at her festival, and she knew clearly what the prayer had meant. She gave a sign that her divinity favoured his plea. 3 times the flame leaped high and brightly in the air. When he returned, he went directly to his image-maid, bent over her, and kissed her many times while she was on her couch. And as he kissed, she seemed to gather some warmth from his lips. Again he kissed her, and he felt her breast. The ivory seemed to soften at the touch, and its firm texture yielded to his hand, as honey-wax of Mount Hymettus turns to many shapes when handled in the sun, and surely softens from each gentle touch. He is amazed, but stands rejoicing in his doubt, while fearful there is some mistake. Again and yet again gives trial to his hopes by touching with his hand. It must be flesh. The veins pulsate beneath the careful test of his directed finger. Then indeed the astonished hero poured out lavish thanks to Venus, pressing with his raptured lips his statue's lips. Now real, true to life, the maiden felt the kisses given to her, and blushing, lifted up her timid eyes, so that she saw the light and sky above, as well as her rapt lover, while he leaned gazing beside her, and all this at once. The goddess graced the marriage she had willed, and when 9 times the crescent moon had changed, increasing to the full, the statue bride gave birth to her dear daughter Paphos, from which famed event the island takes its name. The royal Kinoras was sprung from her, and if he had been father of no child, might well have been accounted fortunate. But I must sing of horrible events. Avoid it, daughters, parents, shun this tale. But if my verse has charmed your thoughts, do not give me such credit in this part. Convince yourself it cannot be true life. Or if against my wish you hear and must believe it, then be sure to notice how such wickedness gets certain punishment. And yet, if nature could permit such crimes as this to happen, I congratulate Ismarian people and old Thrace as well, and I congratulate this nation, which we know is far away from the land where this vile abomination did occur. The land we call Panchaia may be rich in balsam, cinnamon, and costume sweet for ointment, frankincense distilled from trees, with many flowers besides. All this large wealth combined could never compensate the land for this detestable one crime, even though the new martyr advanced on that rich soil. Cupid declares his weapons never caused an injury to Myrrha, and denies his torches ever could have urged her crime. One of the 3 bad sisters kindled this, with firebrand from the sticks, and poisoned you with swollen vipers. It is criminal to hate a parent, but love such as hers is certainly more criminal than hate. The chosen princes of all lands desire you now in marriage, and young men throughout the Orient are vying for your hand. Choose, Myrrha, one from all of these for your good husband, but exclude from such a thought your father only. She indeed is quite aware, and struggles bitterly against her vile desires, and argues in her heart, "What am I tending to? O listening gods, I pray for aid. I pray to natural love. Ah, may the sacred right of parents keep this vile desire from me, defend me from a crime so great. If it indeed is crime, I am not sure it is. I have not heard that any god or written law condemns the union of a parent and his child. All animals will mate as they desire. A heifer may endure her sire, and who condemns it? And the happy stud is not refused by his mare daughters. The he-goat consorts unthought of with the flock of which he is the father, and the birds conceive of those from whom they were themselves begot. Happy are they who have such privilege. Malignant men have given spiteful laws, and what is right to nature is decreed unnatural by jealous laws of men. But it is said there are some tribes today in which the mother marries her own son, the daughter takes a father, and by this the love kind nature gives of them is increased into a double bond. Ah, wretched me! Why was it not my fortune to be born in that love-blessed land? I must abide, depressed by my misfortunes in this place. Why do I dwell on these forbidden hopes? Let me forget to think of lawless flame. My father is most worthy of my love, but only as a father. If I were not born the daughter of great Cinyras, I might be joined to him. But as it stands, because he is mine, he is never mine. Because near to me is far from me. It would be better for me if we were but strangers to each other. For I then could wish to go, and leave my native land, and so escape temptation to this crime. But my unhappy passion holds me here, that I might see Cinyras face to face, and touch him, talk with him, and even kiss him, the best if nothing else can be allowed. But what more could be asked for by the most depraved? Think of the many sacred ties and loved names you are dragging to the mire. The rival of your mother, will you be the mistress of your father, and be named the sister of your son, and make yourself the mother of your brother? And will you not dread the sisters with black snakes for hair, whom guilty creatures, such as you, can see brandish relentless flames